Yuki took over. He scored or assisted all 12 of Japan's final points before overtime. But Yuki is more than just flash and no-look passes. When he turned pro in Japan, he won Rookie of the Year and then won MVP.
What if I told you the shortest player in the NBA right now isn't even 5'9"? Meet Yuki Kawamura, standing at just 5'8", but don't let his height fool you. This guy's got game that would make even the tallest centers look up and take notice. But here's the real question. How did a player barely taller than your average middle schooler make it to the world's toughest basketball league? It's a story of pure determination, crazy skills, and breaking every stereotype in the book. Want to know how he proved all the doubters wrong? You know what's crazy? Yuki wasn't even dreaming about the NBA a year ago. This 5'8" baller from Japan was just trying to rep his country like his idol. Picture this. Kawamura is tearing it up in the Japanese B1 League, dropping 20.9 points a game and dishing out a league-leading 8 assists. He's the MVP, the hometown hero, but the NBA? That wasn't even on his radar.
Yuki dropped out of college to turn pro, and at 18 years old became the youngest player ever in Japan's top league.
But then the Olympics happened and everything changed. Yuki went off against some of the world's best, showing he could hang with the giants of the game. Let's talk about that France game. This dude was fearless, driving to the basket against monsters like Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama. We're talking about two of the best defensive players on the planet.
Yes, they lost in OT, but it took two of the best defensive players alive to stop him, Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama.
And Yuki's out here making them look silly. You won't believe the stats from that game. Kawamura put up 29 points, snagged 7 rebounds, and dished out 6 assists against Olympic-level talent. But it's not just about the numbers. This guy scored or assisted on all 12 of Japan's final points before overtime. That's clutch performance on the biggest stage of his life.
Yuki took over. He scored or assisted all 12 of Japan's final points before overtime. 29.7 boards and 6 assists. Somebody give this man an NBA roster spot.
So how did Yuki go from Japanese League MVP to catching the Grizzlies' eye? It's like something out of a movie. One tournament changed everything for this undersized baller. NBA scouts couldn't ignore what they were seeing. This 5'8" guard was cooking some of the best players in the world, and he was doing it with style. Even the NBA's deputy commissioner, Mark Tatum, was impressed. He said, "He has got this energy about him. The feedback on him is, if he's open, he's going to make the shot." That's high praise from one of the most important guys in the league. It's wild to think that before the Olympics, Yuki didn't even think the NBA was possible. He straight up said, "I figured it wasn't in the cards for me." But man, did he prove himself wrong. His performance was so good, so undeniable, that the Memphis Grizzlies had to give him a shot. They invited him to training camp, and suddenly, this guy who thought he'd never make it to the NBA was on the verge of living out his wildest dreams.
Come on down to Memphis. They invited Yuki to training camp, and now he is the new shortest player in the NBA.
But you know what's even wilder? The real challenge was just beginning. Yuki had proven he could ball out against world-class talent, but now he had to show he could do it night after night in the toughest basketball league on the planet. Going from MVP in Japan to fighting for a spot on an NBA roster. That's a whole different ballgame. Kawamura was about to find out if his Olympic magic could translate to the grueling world of the NBA. Remember when I said Yuki's real challenge was just beginning? Man, I wasn't kidding. Picture this. Yuki walks into Grizzlies training camp, and he's looking up at everyone. I mean everyone. But here's the crazy part. Height isn't everything in basketball. You won't believe what this guy did next. The Grizzlies took a chance on Kawamura, but let's be real. No one knew if he could hang with NBA talent.
But Yuki is more than just flash and no-look passes. When he turned pro in Japan, he won Rookie of the Year and then won MVP.
Those first few days of training camp? Rough. Yuki was struggling big time. He couldn't finish at the rim, and his shots just weren't falling. It was like watching a fish out of water. You gotta wonder what was going through his mind. Here he is, living his dream, but suddenly it's turning into a nightmare. But then, something magical happened. It was like a switch flipped in Yuki's brain. This dude started dishing out no-look passes that would make Magic Johnson proud. I'm talking jaw-dropping. How did he see that kind of assists? It was like he had eyes in the back of his head. Suddenly, everyone in the gym was paying attention to the shortest guy on the court.
Yuki didn't make a single shot inside the three-point line all preseason. Now, he made up for that with his passes, but he has got to figure out how to get to the rim.
You know what's insane? Kawamura averaged 10 assists per 36 minutes in the preseason. That's not just good, that's elite-level playmaking. He ranked 3rd overall in the NBA preseason for this stat.
Well, his biggest strength is passing. Dude had 10 assists per 36 minutes, which is number 3 overall in the NBA preseason.
3rd in the whole league. For a guy who wasn't even on the NBA radar a few months ago, that's mind-blowing. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Yuki still had some major hurdles to overcome. Get this, he didn't make a single shot inside the three-point line during the entire preseason. Not one. And his three-point shooting? It took a nosedive from his Olympic performance.
It's literally Steph Curry level. But in the preseason, Yuki hit 25% and 21% from the field overall,
dropping from 41% to just 25%. That's a tough pill to swallow for any player, let alone one fighting for a roster spot. So how did Yuki adapt his game to overcome this massive height difference? It wasn't just about skill. This guy's work ethic and basketball IQ were off the charts. He knew he couldn't outjump or overpower these NBA giants, so he outsmarted them. Kawamura focused on what he could control: his vision, his passing, and his ability to read the game. His determination was clear. Yuki said, "Playing basketball at this size is very challenging. I hope seeing me will encourage kids who do not have size to not give up." That's the kind of attitude that wins over teammates and coaches. It's not just about what you can do on the court, it's about the energy you bring to the team. And you know what? It worked. Kawamura's hard work and unique skill set earned him a two-way contract with the Grizzlies. That means he'll split time between the NBA and the G League, getting a chance to prove himself at the highest level while continuing to develop his game. Now, Yuki's not just on the team, he's becoming a fan favorite in Memphis.
Yuki Kawamura earned a two-way contract, which means that he will spend a lot of time in the G League but can play up to 50 NBA games.
People love an underdog story, and Kawamura's journey is as underdog as it gets. He's showing that height isn't everything in the NBA. It's about heart, skill, and determination. Yuki's proving that if you've got game, you've got a shot, no matter how tall you are. So, what's next for the NBA's new shortest player? Yuki's journey is just getting started, and it's already got fans buzzing. He's pumped about his two-way contract, saying, "I want to show that you don't have to be big to play in the NBA. I want to make it." And he's not kidding around. Kawamura's gonna face some serious challenges this season. We're talking about matching up against giants like Victor Wembanyama and Zach Edey, who's a whopping 7-on-4. But if there's one thing we've learned about Yuki, it's that he thrives on proving people wrong. This guy's story is more than just about making it to the NBA. It's about inspiring a whole generation of undersized ballers to chase their dreams. Yuki Kawamura is living proof that with enough heart, skill, and determination, anything is possible in basketball. Keep your eyes on Memphis this season. You won't want to miss what happens next in this incredible underdog story.